New to Mediterranean cooking? I've got just the meal for you. Hey there, I'm Len in Brazil and you are watching Evolving Table, where we make good food that's also good for you. Like these flavor-packed lamb kofta kebabs, along with a side of Mediterranean yellow rice, full of fresh herbs and toasty pine nuts. And y'all, that's not it. It's all going to come together in just 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and jump straight in and start cooking it up. Since the rice takes about 25 minutes to cook, we'll start with that recipe. You'll want to first finely dice half of a sweet or white onion, which comes out to about 3/4 of a cup. We also need half a cup of finely diced onion for the koftas, so I'll chop up a little bit more and set this aside. Place a medium-sized pot over medium heat and drizzle in 2 tablespoons of olive or avocado oil. Add the chopped onion and saute for 2 to 3 minutes, or until it becomes translucent. Add 3 cloves of crushed garlic and continue sauteing for another minute. Once the garlic is lightly toasted, add 3/4 teaspoon of ground turmeric. This is where the rice gets that lovely yellow color. 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, and 1 to 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt to taste. Toast the spices for about 1 minute while stirring frequently. Doing this will give the rice a much deeper and richer flavor. Next, pour in 2 1/4 cups of water and stir to combine. Make sure you scrape the bottom of the pot to release any bits that might be stuck. Turn the heat to high and bring the water to a boil. While the water is coming to a boil, I'm going to quickly rinse and drain the basmati rice. This step is super critical to ensure you get nice and fluffy grains of rice instead of it turning into a clumpy mess. So make sure you don't skip this step. Add 1 1/2 cups of basmati rice to a fine mesh strainer and rinse under cool running water for a minute or 2. You can use regular long grain white rice, but it won't come out nearly as flavorful. You'll know you're done rinsing when the water runs clear. Shake the rice to ensure all of the water has been thoroughly drained, and then add it to the pot of boiling water. Give the rice a good stir. Cover it with a lid, and then reduce the heat to low. Let the rice simmer for 20 minutes or until it is tender and fluffy. All right, we've got our rice cooking. Now it's time to turn our attention to those lamb koftas. And try not to let the name scare you off. Kofta is really just like a Greek version of an Italian meatball, but the main difference being the types of seasonings that are used. Today we're going to be whipping up our own Greek seasoning blend. But if you're pressed for time, you can also always buy a store-bought one instead. Most of the spices we'll be using you're probably pretty familiar with the one exception being coriander. This is a pretty unique spice, and I would not recommend substituting it with anything else. Most grocery stores will carry it in the spice aisle, or you can always purchase it online. So go ahead and grab a small bowl and add 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, 1 1/2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of dried parsley, half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Yes, cinnamon. It's going to give them that extra punch of flavor that will really make your taste buds dance. 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt, and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Whisk together until well combined. For the lamb, you're going to want to look for a fattier kind. Either an 80-20 or an 85-15 will work the best. This extra fat gives the koftas a ton of juicy flavor. If you're not a fan of lamb, you can always opt for ground beef, turkey, or even chicken. Add the ground lamb to a large bowl, along with half a cup of finely diced sweet or white onion, 1/4 cup of plain breadcrumbs. A gluten-free brand can be used. 3 tablespoons of finely chopped cilantro, 2 cloves of crushed garlic, and then that Greek seasoning blend we mixed up earlier. Mix the ingredients together by hand until they're well combined. And don't forget to take off those rings so they don't get messy. Divide the meat into 8 equal portions. And shape each one into a 4 to 5 inch long by 1 inch wide cylinder. If you're grilling these, you'll want to shape these on wooden skewers that have been soaked for at least an hour so they don't burn. Now to cook these. The best thing about this recipe is that you can cook them one of 3 different ways: in a skillet, on the grill, or my personal favorite, in the air fryer. For the stovetop, you'll want to drizzle a few teaspoons of oil into a large stainless steel or cast iron skillet over medium heat. Add 4 koftas at a time and cook for 7 to 8 minutes in total, turning them over so they can brown on all sides. For the grill, don't forget to place the lamb mixture onto those wooden skewers, squeezing slightly so the mixture sticks. And then cook over medium-high heat for 7 to 8 minutes, turning them as you go. And lastly, the air fryer. Is anyone else as obsessed with this thing as I am? Place 8 of the koftas evenly spaced in a single layer in the bottom of a 6-quart air fryer basket. It's very important they are not too crowded, but it's okay if the ends touch just a little bit. Cook at 400 degrees for 8 to 9 minutes. Give the basket a good shake halfway through so all of the sides cook up evenly. You'll know the koftas are done when the internal temperature reaches 160 degrees. And we couldn't forget that rice. It looks nice and fluffy. Now it's time to add in the finishing touches. 2 tablespoons of finely chopped cilantro, 2 tablespoons of finely chopped fresh parsley. Flat leaf is more flavorful, but curly leaf can be used. And 1/4 cup of toasted pine nuts. Serve the yellow rice with the lamb koftas and a side of Greek tzatziki sauce, either homemade or store-bought. Oh yeah. Oh, so good. And yep, ready in just under 30 minutes. But I will have to say that homemade tzatziki sauce, it is the way to go. If you don't already have a recipe, make sure you check out this one right over here. Best of luck making your first Mediterranean meal at home. I'll see you in the next one.